once you taste the feeling of winning, you don't want to go back. I want to go back to winning again, and I want to be in the finals, and I want to go to Worlds, and I want to be considered the best player in my role. It's important that we continue TSM's legacy as the kings of NA.
TSM will get that Kai'Sa the pentakill!
I guess TSM has rivalry with everyone, but it's more like everyone wants to have a rivalry with TSM. You obviously want to be rivals with the best team and the team that's had the biggest legacy.
Historically, TSM has always had the numbers on us during playoffs.
Disaster for Cloud9!
But I think this time around, it's really going to be the one where we're going to beat TSM.
They could die here! Very, very low, gonna be taken down! First blood over to Team Liquid!
If you get a bye, then you need to practice way harder than other teams because having underdog power is a real thing. So if you don't try way harder than them, you actually might just get upset.
Whenever I'm in playoffs, I'm here to win the whole thing. So I can't really stop at Team Liquid.
프랭 시즌에는 트로피를 리퀴드한테 뺏겼는데 이번 시즌에 저희가 뺏어오고 싶습니다.
It's a double for Doublelift, and the Thieves are routed. Liquid will look for the win right here.
With every day and every series that we get to play, I'm one step closer to being back on the final stage. For me, it's something I've done so many times before. There's no reason I couldn't do it again.
We're back for the NALCS Countdown, where I'd like to welcome Kobe to the desk as the victor of
I would
Mundo
not like to
Dodgeball.
welcome him.
If Joel had won, Joel would actually be joining us, but Kobe barely eked that one by. How was that? How was that knowing you were playing for someone else's prediction?
It was just scary as soon as it started and he rushed me. I thought there were going to be rules to this game, you know, throw the cleavers from outside the line.
Yeah, there were rules.
I got bum rushed.
They were disregarded.
Terrible.
They were fully disregarded rules, but they were there nonetheless. All right, with that, though, it's time for a special edition of JatStats. So please help me in welcoming the JatStats Singer Summoner's Riff.
Hopefully they'll get this one right. It's JatStats. These aren't that hard.
All right, you come up here and try it.
I
don't know how I like
Those
the
are the
pressure
same
of
singers that made the jingles.
every single jingle you guys have heard.
Heckle me
throughout the year.
Group. Okay.
A little more.
First question. Someone in the 100 Thieves vs. TL series is dead last in DPM difference, so damage per minute difference, of everyone in their role. So who is this player?
Do we track DPM difference for like supports and stuff?
Oh, God, I hope not.
You
If
would have
it's a
to
support, I'm going to be so
this
angry.
would be self-calculated because it's your own damage per minute, and then you're just subtracting the two for the difference.
I mean, they have the difference tracker.
Right.
Yeah,
But
so-
I'm going to hope that it is not a support because that's just not fun. And then I'm going to assume that the difference, it might be between Doublelift and Cody still.
No, well, because Cody has pretty
good
just because of long
DPM,
games.
right?
Yeah, well, he's in long games. He's on all the time. Is Cody in the stats just in general? Because
Yeah, so it's
because
all
of
the
roster
games.
move.
I'm going to say impact.
Impact
Cody
versus
technically
I was going to go impact
Yeah.
too, but he does play some GP, which makes me a little nervous.
Ssumday has been carrying
I think
games. I don't know if he's been.
I think it's the biggest mismatch.
but it's not even against each other.
Somebody should
It's
take
just
Pobelter,
the
though.
single individual. Yeah, I think maybe.
Or should we have someone take support? Because I swear to God, if it's support, that's just.
I'll go Pobelter
I'm
because I think
impact.
Doublelift has such a high
Afro.
damage.
Yeah.
Doublelift has such high damage share for the team.
It's the support.
I knew it! I knew
Get
it!
out of here!
As soon as you said it, I thought more about it. I was like,
That is wrong. It's wrong.
right?
Yeah.
For me.
Well, we're wrong.
Mark was right, though.
All right. I don't need
We're
the
wrong.
support.
But the majority were wrong, so
Yeah.
that's...
So
But I knew your stupid mind game.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Kobe pays attention to JatStats. You've been here the whole time. You knew what the...
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't really pay a whole lot of
Go for
attention
it.
to the Jazz stats.
Question number 2, still themed, 100 Thieves TL. Who has the highest KDA at 15 minutes this split from either player on both teams? So, like, all the games in the regular season, best KDA at 15.
Ooh, interesting. So,
Supports
on
are
the one
included
hand,
in this one, too.
Yes, thank you. The only thing about the marksman players is, like, in pre-15 minutes, there's a lot of fights that do break out around mid and top, and you don't necessarily see marksman players involved in those. So as much as I want to say, like, oh, TL plays around Doublelift, and for the most part, 100 Thieves tend to play around Cody, I think, like, Ssumday's probably got too many solo kills
I would think
kills?
I would think it would be a Team
Oh,
Liquid
in order
player.
to then boost his KDA.
Because this is a single player from both teams. I would think it's a Team Liquid player.
Right.
Yeah, I would assume Team Liquid player has the more winning.
I was leaning towards Xmithie. I was thinking Xmithie because he's all over the map, whereas Doublelift.
But he had that one death. He had that one game where he died like twice in the first 2 minutes.
A lot of good
game.
discussion here.
I'm gonna go random then. I'm going Ryu.
Ryu?
Okay,
What?
what do
No.
you guys
oh
think?
my
I'm
God.
gonna say Xmithie.
I like where Kobe's head's at. He called you on the mind game in question 1,
And then he got it wrong.
So I'm not. Well, but I'm not gonna second
But I
guess
knew.
him. It's because I second guessed him and I pushed him away from supports.
Okay.
So I'll take that responsibility for question 1. I'm gonna go with Kobe on Ryu.
The majority of the desk says Ryu, and it's Ryu, the highest.
Yeah!
Kobe!
That is right.
I'm just glad not to be associated with you.
I know every single one of your minds.
You only got one of them right.
This game is easy.
Yeah.
Final question.
You didn't get them to sing that was right.
So
we got
far,
them to
it's a
sing that was
50%
right.
success rate on the desk between 100 Thieves and TL, who has the worst CSD at 15 in non-funnel games. So all the games that were funneled aren't part of this stat.
Which player on team?
Worst CSD at 15 between both teams.
Okay. Non-funnel games.
Worst CSD.
And the supports are included.
This could also be.
Yeah, but
Ryu
they don't even see us
in
enough
my
to make
mind.
big CSD.
This could also be Ryu.
It could be Ryu.
It could.
I feel like he kind of passively loses lane bet. It might be one of the mid. It could either be.
This decides whether you guys win or lose Jat stats.
Because I don't think it's not Ssumday.
Onda. Pretty sure his snap is really bad.
A jungler?
Yeah, I think his CSD is pretty bad.
CSD 15 for On.
I think.
Interesting.
Worst CSD. All right, you go Onda. What do you got?
I mean, his impact as well, maybe. I don't know.
I feel like it's a mid laner, but I don't know.
I'll just pick
Pobelter
something
and
different
Ryu.
from you guys.
Okay,
So somebody.
I'm gonna go with
One of us will win
I'm
now.
gonna go with Pobelter.
Or we all lose.
I'm gonna
You're
go
gonna
with
go
Pobelter.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Impact then.
Impact.
Pobelter.
Impact. So now what do you sing? When all three of us say something different, what do you
It's
sing now?
Impact.
I
knew it.
What? Every question I knew the answer.
You only got 2 right.
Because I gave you the first one.
Oh, they
Kobe.
gave it to Kobe.
2 out of 3 for Kobe.
Oh
means he's
my
right.
goodness.
I mean, I said impact before, too.
But you didn't.
He wins
you didn't lock
Mundo
it in.
dodgeball.
I'm saying
he
by that
wins Jat
Yeah.
stats.
You get 3 out of
I gotta
3.
thank.
Yes,
the
thank you
acapella
guys
group.
so much, Summoner's
was-
Rift. You guys are incredible.
great.
Provided us with so many laughs and plenty of embarrassment for Mark and I throughout this split.
Whenever we have
So
a
thank
guest
you
on
very
Jazz
much.
Cast, they do way
They
better
do
than you
so
guys.
much better than us.
Yeah.
Why is that?
We're busy filling our head with entertainment.
Oh, there, that's what it is.
They just have
That's what I'm gonna go with. Well, ahead of the matchup today, Avli caught up with Team Liquid's coach to see how he feels about the 100 Thieves roster swap.
Thanks, guys. Kane said that Team Liquid is feeling super confident against their matchup against 100 Thieves today. He said that they usually have the bot lane advantage, and that's going to be even more so with Rikara subbing in for Cody's son. The team knows that they qualify for Worlds with a win, but they're more focused on today's best of 5 than really looking forward. They put in a lot of extra hours and a lot of extra hard work in this week's scrims and practices, and they just want today's results to show that. Back to you.
I mean, for me, the bigger piece of this all is the news around the 100 Thieves roster swap, which is what I want to start diving into. Yesterday, the first semifinal match was packed with years of history. And while these two teams have a shorter timeline, I'm going to take you all the way back to spring finals of just this year. Team Liquid, 100 Thieves. That was our spring split finals in Miami.
Yeah, and that started with a Baron steal by Xmithie to secure game 1, and then somehow that close game turned into the fastest finals in NA LCS history, and they even had a lead in game 3 despite that, and somehow Team Liquid obliterated them.
Yeah, the memory of that is TL just absolutely dominating. When you look at this matchup all time, TL is 6-1 against 100 Thieves, as well as 2-0 on this split. So the more times the TL beats 100 Thieves, it almost feels like the harder it is for 100 Thieves to overcome that.
Yeah, without a doubt. That said, the owners of both organizations have been outspoken about the fact that these two teams are meeting yet again here in the playoffs.
I saw this happen live, and Nadeshot's response was within 45 minutes of the original tweet. You know, sometimes the owners have like social media people come up with stuff.
Right.
But I'm confident to give like full credit to Nadeshot on that
Pretty
one.
quick-witted.
It was snappy, and it is good.
Yeah, very good. How have you been sleeping this week? Nadeshot's response, we can get in 8 hours every night, knowing it took 6 years for you to get a banner in the studio. Only took us 6 months to meet you in the finals. They met once in the finals. Team Liquid did come out on top. Here they meet again in the semis.
Maybe this is Steve's process. Like, he finds ways to get flamed on social media just so TL can win. Like, he was getting destroyed at the start of spring split after the offseason, and then TL like being in fourth. Then he won.
Yeah, I mean, also for Nadeshot, it's like, yeah, that was quick-witted and a better burn, but you're probably still gonna lose.
Oh man.
So like,
oh man. Yeah, but you still gotta talk. You gotta talk.
I know.
Game,
Yeah, you gotta talk.
You can't exactly. So while picking up the win would certainly boost 100 Thieves morale, today's winner not only plays for the summer title, but they do guarantee their spot in Worlds.
Yeah. So if you just look at the way the champion points fall out, this is essentially the current championship's point standings, assuming like the worst case scenario. The winner of this matchup will either be first in the split by winning the finals or have the most championship points of anyone by finishing second.
Correct.
And also what's interesting is if the winner of this game actually wins the split, then Team Liquid or 100 Thieves, by finishing fourth, would still actually make Worlds. The way they don't make
the
Worlds
loser of
is
today's match,
like Cloud9 ends up winning the whole split.
Loser of today's match goes to Worlds if the winner of today's match wins the finals. That's the best way to look at it there. 100 Thieves are actually premiering, though, a new bot laner for their semifinal match today. Rikara is starting in the bot lane position for game number 1. This move seemingly coming out of the blue.
Right, we're talking about substitutions from yesterday, but we knew Sven and Golden Glue were a bit of a known commodity in the sense that they had started the split, they had subbed in once recently, and then they came in again. Rikara was not really seen at all this split on the main roster, and he was pretty good in Academy. Like, I cast all his games. He's clearly a good player, and he does play some mages, which Cody doesn't, as far as we can tell. But still, it's hard to look at this as not a surprise.
I mean,
some way.
we were kind of discussing on the dive, just the matchup in general before the Rikara news came out. And my first reaction was, oh, we need to ask stats what Doublelift versus Cody Sun all-time stats are like, because it always feels like Doublelift, has this big advantage over Cody Sun, CS and lane and everything like that. And it's true, after we asked stats, he has huge CS leads, like 12 difference at like 15 or something like that, large gold leads and stuff in the individual matchup. So maybe it was a similar thing, and they just wanted to have someone different versus Team Liquid's best player.
Yeah, I'm hoping they're just trying to either confuse Team Liquid or at least change the game a little bit, just because we know the 6-1 all-time record. We know that Doublelift seemingly always has Cody Sun. So just change the player.
Right.
And if it doesn't work, you can still go back to Cody Sun.
I was going to say, it's not to say that Cody Sun couldn't come right back in for game 2, and we'll have to see if that happens. For playoffs, though, Doublelift talks about the toll his play style can take on the rest of his teammates and how he wants to step up in these big games to make it all worthwhile.
My team usually does a good job. Like, I demand a lot. I think one thing I never tell my teammates, I've never told them this ever, is I really appreciate how much they put up with my shit, because I really demand a lot out of my teammates. Like, I need Eugene and Jake to play around me, and I need Impact to save his TP for me. I need Olleh to just always be with me and protecting me. So those kinds of things, it takes a toll on people, and it probably limits their playstyle. So I really appreciate that my teammates always, no matter what roster I'm on, my teammates always play around me, and they don't ever complain. I'm excited at the opportunity to prove my teammates that I'm worthy of their respect, and I'm worthy that they could sacrifice something to get me ahead, and they should feel confident that that's gonna help them win the game. So yeah, I want to be that player. I want to be like Uzi.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds exactly like the way RNG plays around Uzi, and then Doublelift said the exact same thing at the end.
Right from you, right.
That's exactly it, and RNG is technically proving that can work, and I think TL is the closest NA replica we have of that team.
Well, without a doubt, we'll see if they can perform today. It's been a bit since we've seen Team Liquid on the Rift. With just a couple minutes to go before the series, I want to get some win conditions on the board. Mark, you're taking 100 Thieves today.
Yeah, I'm going to try and adapt them a little bit to what we're seeing in the substitution. So first, pick a bot lane, kill lane with mages. You see the Pike and the Swain come out, something that TSM's bot lane has done. Aphromoo is a great Pike. We know Rikara, looking at his Academy games, does play Swain. He also plays Vladimir, so something like that to maybe throw Doublelift off kilter, so he's not just playing these hyper-scaling matchups or these utility marksman matchups that he's played for 8 years. Get him off that and get him into different matchups he doesn't know as well. With that, Ssumday can hopefully go for a greedier counter pick in the top lane. Yesterday, I talked about using counter picks to build better team fight team comps. I want them to be greedier with them this time and more lane focused about obliterating a laning phase. And then global enablers for Ryu of some kind, Ryze, Galio, something like that, so you can kind of set up your side lanes, which are going to be a lot more aggressive, hopefully, here.
All right, Jat, you're up next. You got the defending champions in Team Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, you probably could have made these win conditions in Week 7 because Team Liquid doesn't need to change that much. I think controlling Rise is a big thing that FlyQuest didn't do against 100 Thieves. You either pick it or ban it away. Then over-prioritize having a good late game because these games probably going late and play through your bottom lane like you always do.
All right,
Team Liquid's got to do.
Win conditions are on the board. Kobe, before we head out to the Battle Arena, earlier I got these guys' predictions for the day. Want to give you an opportunity to throw your prediction out there. Who you think?
I saw those, and they were both super quick to say Team Liquid 3-0.
What are you going to say? You got 15 seconds.
I think that it is still going to be Team Liquid, but I think it's going to be much closer, and I said 3-2.
3-2 prediction out of Kobe here. A much closer series, 10 seconds ahead of game time. Time to toss it out to the Battle Arena to get us into the games.
Thank you very much, Dash. I'm Rivington Bizen III, joined by this dashing duo of Aiden Zyrene Moon and Isaac Azael Cummings Bentley. We are ready to get a rematch of the Spring Split Finals right here between 100 Thieves and Team Liquid.
And already we can see they agree with the guys on the desk controlling that Rise first ban on the red side.
Yeah, and I love this because Team Liquid, they had choice of side selection. They went for red side. Even though 100 Thieves, they actually have a very good blue side win rate. They are 13-3 this entire split on blue side. And on red, they're 3-8. So a much higher win rate when they can control Braum or Aphromoo getting a recon.
Things really have been changing around, though. The fact that, you know, in 8-16, there's not as many must bans on the red side really made a big difference. People are kind of starting to prioritize that red side and the counter picks a lot more, and they still have flexibility.
Yeah, there's only a few things that people consider almost mandatory bans, and it's things like the Akali and the Kindred, but we saw versus FlyQuest, 100 Thieves didn't want to pick Akali. I believe it went unpicked or banned in a few of their games, and that's them banning it because they aren't even going to first pick it here.
Final ban now for Team Liquid. Let's see what will hurt 100 Thieves the most here in phase 1 of picks, and what is their priority now? Ssumday with the first lock-in and 27 seconds to figure this one out. It looks like it'll be the support pick.
Braum or
Kindred is left off. Kindred is locked in.
Yeah, that's what we were kind of saying is being able to control the Kindred and then the Recon and Braum are things that, you know, Aphromoo really wants to have. And I like this from TL because they said you either pick the Braum and give us Kindred for Xmithie, who's a very famous Kindred player, or you take the Kindred yourself and then you give Olleh somebody who can help protect Doublelift, but also there's some aggressive lanes you can pair alongside this Braum.
And this does make a lot of sense, but one of the things I'm really just going to be interested about is seeing what is the plan with Rikara? Because a lot of people have been talking about the fact that if both these teams play standard, TL just kind of does that better, and that is why most people are predicting that TL is going to win. Doublelift has had the edge over Codysun traditionally, and when you both play through that bottom lane, that's going to mean a lot of victories for TL. Is Rikara going to bring out a really aggressive pick? Is he going to bring out a mage in the bottom lane? What is the difference that they're trying to look for?
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to pick the mage or it's a champion select swap up where Ssumday will be who they play to now, and that they feel that Rikara is a better Ezreal or a Sivir, kind of a safer player in terms of the, how he's going to contribute to a team instead of needing resources funneled into him. That's kind of the other thing besides mages that I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, blind pick on the GP there, that's something that so many teams love to do against TL. Impact defaults to tanks in vast majority of the time. He has not had as many strong carry performances. So you can do things like this. You can say, all right, well, you're not going to play Camille or some sort of counter pick into me, so you're going to pick a tank anyway. I'll just blind pick GP.
Yeah, and I like this because this means what I said may not be true, where they're actually going to focus. They're going to focus the bottom lane now. When you pick GP, you're not usually going to that lane. You're going to the bottom lane because he has TP, he has ultimate, he can exert pressure on the opposite side of the map, and he's also physical damage, and they have a physical damage jungler. You might be right, Azael. It might be a mage coming out here, a Swain Vladimir, potentially for Rikara.
Yeah, I think with all the physical damage coming out there is certainly a higher possibility of that. I also like the fact that you see Kai'Sa being taken away when there's also double physical DPS here, so that's kind of limiting some of the options. Varus is off the table, Kai'Sa is gone. Those are kind of your AP marksmen that you can build that way. So it almost does really push you into either a super high DPS mage in the mid lane like Cassio or something along those lines who's going to be able to force you to build MR, or you have to play a mage bot.
And with the second phase of bans from TL, they hit Rikara a bit. That Kai'Sa is one of Rikara's most played, so they filter into already hitting the guy that 100 Thieves has just put in.
Yeah, but Rikara has played a whole bunch of champions. He's played the Ezreal, he's played the Kalista, the Sivir.
Feels the Zaya.
Can still play things like utility, but the Swain is the one that I'm looking at here, taking the Trist away and making sure that maybe they have something else. There's the Swain takeaway. Swain plus Alistar would be very brutal to play against. So TL, they're pretty keen to what you would want to do as 100 Thieves with Rikara.
And I think that's a smart ban. Swain certainly is the premier bot lane mage these days, unless you really are proficient on Heimerdinger, which is something that less players are comfortable doing.
But there are some crazy things too, right? We've seen Ahri, we've seen Orianna, we've seen a Cassio bottom lane. There's a lot of different champions that just come out.
And I mean, you can do something like Draven into Kai'Sa is considered a very good matchup if you're willing to play an aggressive marksman and you're willing to play more for that lane. Alistar plus Draven certainly has the potential to go aggressively onto that Kai'Sa and try to put her behind early.
Taking out that game-changing Cho'Gath Chomp as well, so Impact will not be bringing that power into the top lane. Still 2 more picks for each team, and what can we find here for the priority? We saw a lot of good play out of Licorice on this Ornn, and we'll see what happens here for Impact.
Yeah, Ornn died down for a tiny bit, but he was always kind of right underneath the surface, and then when tanks like Cho'Gath came back, people said, all right, Ornn is just a tank that has really good long-range engage, and then Sion started popping up as well. We're kind of back to the top laners playing a lot of tanks, but also having the ability to engage fights and contribute.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's kind of, to me, the choice between Ornn and Sion and some of those different tanks becomes, you know, Ornn is much less of a focus on your lane. I think is a much weaker laner than Sion against the GP. That gives an easier time over for Ssumday in that 1v1. But you're trading that for having a much more guaranteed engage in the team fights, especially when you have the Braum. There's not going to be that Braum shield to block out your ultimate.
And what I love about Team Liquid's composition is they're drafting a ton of hard engage against 100 Thieves who love to drag the game out. Being able to catch them and start fights means they don't get to delay.
It's also a tremendous amount of CC to apply Plasma for that Kai'Sa. You know, everyone right now can help apply those stuns, those knockups, all those extra hits, and the Jhin does come through, so it's a relatively standard composition here for 100 Thieves. The magic damage is going to be in the form of that Malzahar, which can threaten that front line and, you know, does command a little bit of respect there. Remains to be seen what Pobelter will bring out.
Yeah, the Jhin is interesting for Rikara because he's pretty much played no Jhin at all this split in Academy. When I look through it, he actually hasn't played a single game of it.
Not one.
It's just been those basic attackers and the mages.
This comp here for TL, we heard Doublelift talking about it. He wants the team to play around him. This is about as much as you can do that. You have 3 tanks, you have a Zilean mid to speed you up, to res you, and you are playing a late game hyper-scaling marksman. Doublelift is going to have his chance to take over this game.
And this is Pobelter on his first Zilean game here of the split. TL and Cloud9 both got the first round buys. You can assume that they probably scrimmed each other a decent amount across the bracket because they wouldn't meet each other unless they were going to meet in the final.
I love these compositions so far. It's kind of like with the Jhin being picked up, it is welcome to the show. You're going to have Kindred ulti going down with a Gangplank ult on top of that and the curtains being called behind for bullets to fly through.
Yeah, it's that old combination of GP ultimate into Jhin ultimate. You combine 2 kind of soft CCs to make a hard engage.
On the other side, TL as well has that bit of a save with Chrono Shift on to Zilean. We are about to get into game. It is going to be 100 Thieves versus Team Liquid. The matchups down the line, extremely big in each lane. In the jungle, the bot lane to be matched up. Will it find the pressure from the junglers in the early part of the game? Doublelift versus Aphromoo, the rematch of the spring finals. Coming through, can 100 Thieves run the heist on Team Liquid? We are on the Rift.
Had the rematch of the 2017 finals yesterday. Had a rematch of the spring 2018 finals today. We have had a treat of a weekend. I'm hoping for 5 games.
And this is going to be a hype as hell series because the winner goes to Worlds, right? They lock in immediately off of championship points. Nobody can match them. The only one that would be able to match them is the person in this game. Take them down, you're good to go.
It's really funny because as much as you want to beat the other team in this match, if you lose, you become their biggest fan because them winning the finals also will send you to Worlds.
Well, also, a lot of the times when people get beat by a team, they're like, I want you to win the next round because I lost to the best team. Yeah, it's like, I
would have beat the other guys. I would have beat the other guys.
All right, let's write our intro to this very long best of 5 essay. Hopefully we go all 5 games. Ooh, hit.
Doublelift going
more attacks. Rikara. Wow, down below 100 HP in the first fight, toe-to-toe, Doublelift and Rikara. Not pulling any punches.
And as much as that's kind of funny to see Doublelift asserting his dominance, he actually popped a potion.
Yeah.
So he actually does kind of fall down on that. You know, the null shield did get popped there for Rikara, so that's something that is on cooldown, but likely the being down a potion for Doublelift actually is going to hurt his lane more than that rune being on cooldown.
I'm actually surprised that Rikara has that rune, because Celerity's really good on Jhin with Hail of Blades, and then also Gathering Storm is quite good on him too, especially if you think you're going to go later with 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons for that, and one of the arguments you can make, is there's so much damage on this team that, you know, as long as you're not getting burst down, it's more with this composition for 100 Thieves about kiting out in the fights and focusing down the front line. If you can survive, that's going to be a big deal, because look at all the damage across the board, right? There's 4 heavy damage dealers.
We'll see now in the mid lane. Just a quick back and forth to start things off from Ryu and Pobelter, who got a few bombs on. Doesn't seem like they'll really be worse for the wearer to start that off. But Onda and Xmithie about to cross paths. He has the vision on that ward, so he's privy to the knowledge firsthand. And he'll hop in. Avali with a sideline report. We'll hop to her to see how 100 Thieves felt coming into this match.
Thanks, guys. Probably said that they put in Rikara because he has a pretty difficult to guess champion pool. And, you know, he doesn't want Team Liquid to get too comfortable. He said that this is the easiest way to pull off a surprise and potentially pull off a win. Back to you.
I think that makes a lot of sense, because they had to mix up something. They're 1-6 against TL. They got 3-0'd in the finals last time. You need to be able to have that flexibility to show them a different look, even if it's just for the first game.
Yeah, and that's 1-6, but the only time that they ever beat them was their very first encounter against each other back in January. It's been 6 straight losses. And hold on, Anda actually is going to find Xmithie here. It's level 3 to level 2, and he's got the track on him from behind.
Sees him quick, so he gets the first attack, flashes down, so now the chase can be on. Rio's going to get a tag of Malefic Visions on. Ssumday gets a piece of this one as well. A tit for tat and a touch for everybody.
And
Ssumday comes up with first blood.
And the first blood goes to the Gangplank up top. He uses his flash for it, but still, being able to start getting him rolling is huge. Getting that Sheen faster means a lot.
Yeah, that first blood's so big. Getting the mark as well there for it. And really good start for him. And it's going to be tough for Xmithie.
Again.
I know he doesn't have the Blast Gun. I think that was so smart from Anda to actually clear out the Blast Gun first. And then the Q's on cooldown, so Xmithie can just flash out. But with the collapse coming in from both sides, there's no way to get out.
Yeah, and that's going to be, like you said, a stack for Anda. He's at 2 already. It's only 3 minutes, 4 minutes into the game. And that gives you a better chance of contesting the next one, too, if it's on that scuttle.
And as one of these top laners, you know, for Impact, you're already in a rough matchup. You know you're going to get outscaled. Now he comes back to lane, not only with first blood, but the red buff, which means you don't even have any chance of bullying him in those early minutes. And that kind of closes your only chance of really pushing him around.
And something that Gangplanks have actually been doing recently is it's almost been like no more Klepto. Everybody's on that grass train. It used to be you pick the Kleptomancy into tanks because it's a free lane, but now everybody's just going grass because they feel like the HP value that you get kind of adds up and would equate the gold that you would have as Klepto, and it allows you to trade and kind of win lanes.
Yeah, I mean, Klepto to me has always been kind of this win more style of rune, but you don't really need to do that because the scaling is so incredible on GP anyway. If you can get to those later stages, you're going to be feeling good. With that early buy of the Sheen, Ssumday is going to be really, really comfortable.
Quick push in. Xmithie did get a smite down, so he gets away with the majority of Raptors here, but the pressure from 100 Thieves is continuous. Over the wall goes Onda. Quick hits out of Pobelter, but no level 6 to get under that turret and the dive on Team Liquid. 100 Thieves backs off, but continue their aggression.
And I think Anda's just going to loop back around to the top side here. If he goes to the bottom jungle, I'd be surprised because the Scuttle Crab on the top side is coming up. So I think Ryu should fight for mid lane priority right now. He is a little bit low, but you do this camp, you start heading towards that scuttle, and you just hope there's a mark on it because all the other camps are down. There it is. So yeah, you 100% want that. That'd be your 3rd mark at 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, and especially, if Ryu can get 6 and come over, that would be very big, but he is out of mana right now, so we'll see if the solo laners are going to collapse. For now, though, it's looking like it's going to be Anda's, and such a strong start on this Kindred. As you said, 3 marks that early on. You're pretty much guaranteed to hit that 4th mark before team fights really start breaking out, and that's going to put you in an incredibly strong position.
Yeah, and people kind of forget about it, but it adds extra damage. It's not just the range. Every single one gives you extra attack speed on your Q, percent missing HP on your E. It's a lot of damage that can add up, and I believe it also gives you extra percent current HP on Wolf, which against high HP targets like Dragon and your buffs,
Ornn, Sejuani.
just do it so quickly in terms of clearing your jungle, and it increases the speed at which you get levels.
Teleport coming in just below. I believe this is Impact from the top lane. No, it's Olleh back in with Pobelter. Aphromoo slowed with the time warp, and they're going to have a lockdown on him. CC for days.
Where's GP?
And the only thing to beat CC is death. He's going to be live for now. Another TP coming in. Impact feels like he now needs to come in. It's a 4v2. Ryu and Onda somehow holding tall in the fight, but they're knocked down by the Ram as Impact calls it forth. And Onda's going to have to tread backwards from the fight.
And Impact completed the TP. Ssumday canceled his, instead throws the Cannon Barrage out at a very late time, and all it gets is Pobelter's ult.
Yeah, that was a double TP play there from TL. Both solo laners coming down really well done to be able to knock down those 2 kills. Ssumday, does drop the ult, as you said. He gets a little bit of free time, a little bit of a CS advantage, but again, this is just really nice from TL. Definitely not expecting this from 100 Thieves, at least not expecting 2 members to come through.
Yeah, and I'm wondering where's the ultimate from Gangplank to just slow them down and disengage this, and it is used, I would say, way too offensively here, where they wait for this opportunity where Anda is flashed after. Then there's the Zilean ultimate, which they aren't keeping track of right now. And that's kind of the big no-no there, is that they weren't actually paying attention to the fact that Zilean was there. Zilean has ultimate, and that guy was going down so slowly too.
This is pretty interesting now. Doublelift actually TP'd top to defend the wave against Ssumday. So 100 Thieves, I think, kind of anticipated that they were just going to be laning back up there. They send their bot lane up to top, but Doublelift's actually heading down to bot now. So we have kind of swapped lanes. The bot lanes are not matching just yet, so we'll see if 100 Thieves with 3 members heading up to top can actually be the first to get the turret.
Big gold swing in that, with TL kind of feeling like they won the first fight. It doesn't look like they'll have the pressure unless Onda goes behind. He's going to take a little longer possibly than they wanted, and Xmithie is going to be here for the party as well. However, they see each other just on the right.
Yeah, but they also see Braum in the mid lane, meaning he's going to have to rotate. It's going to take Olleh a long time to get there. If they
Impact
focus
on
down,
the front side of the turret. Onda goes in. He's level 6 to throw on Lamb's Respite as Xmithie gets in with Glacial Prison. And nobody feels like they have to go for the full engage. The curtain is called. It looks like they closed the pamphlet early. Nobody's watching that show.
Still, nicely done. They get a little bit of damage down, and they are going to be able to push back in. If Impact has to go back to base, then they lose the turret. So they're trying to hold on. Ssumday is down on the bottom side and has easier access to wave clear as this GP.
Yeah, and his ultimate is not going to be up in time for this dive, but they're going to try for it. Again, Anda has that ultimate, like you said, and be an easy setup. They already have Ryu rotating too.
Rinse and repeat, but this one looks a little messy. Deadly Flourish does lock down Impact. Xmithie puts himself in front. The hit coming through on Pobelter as he cannot get himself to safety. Yes, he can. Airy will not take him down. The fight at the turret is still continuing. They get it, and Impact will not reaggress onto the Forge God. They just call it out for a little bit of separation.
Yeah, but down in the bottom side, now there's 2 people on Ssumday. Ssumday just got his ultimate here. He could potentially clear the next wave with it and prevent the turret from going down.
He's looking for maybe a barrel chain over the side, but this is a really nice proactive play to see from 100 Thieves. Everyone talks about them as the most passive team, this late game team. Multiple attempted dives on the top side. They are able to kind of bully down that first turret, and 4 marks already here for Anda is a really good start for 100 Thieves. They're being proactive, and they're very clearly trying to change some things up and show a bit of a different style.
I would say this is the Kindred dream, but not even Kindreds have dreams like this. It's 4 stacks.
Be realistic.
Level 6? He almost has as many stacks as levels right now in the game, and that's absurd. He has that increased range. Now he has his full jungle item ready to go. This is a Kindred that can go look at that Cloud Drake now that you've swapped the lanes back and not worry about your bottom lane turret going down and start getting a lot for your team.
Yeah, and I mean, with 100 Thieves now swapping right back down to bottom, TL don't feel that they can actually push the turret fast enough against Ssumday, so they're going to have to come back down and match. We'll see if 100 Thieves can make anything happen here on the bottom side and knock down a second turret. Would be a very big deal for them, but it's TL with multiple members down here on the bottom side.
Looks like they want to make something happen, produce a few results on that turret. We'll have to see how Onda and the team can stop this from happening. Also, with the marks on him, being a player coming into the middle of season 100 Thieves, is he someone that is ready to put a foot forward and start making moves with that kind of ability here in this game in the semifinals?
That's a really good point. A lot of people forget that Anda came in the halfway point in the split, and they 3-0'd FlyQuest in the quarterfinals, and he did a fantastic job in that set. But this is where you kind of look at that jungle and mid synergy with Ryu and Anda and saying, okay, is that something where now they start grouping up and having that pressure without having to have Ryze, without having to have a roamer for Ryu? Can Anda kind of free him up? And you see they keep playing to the sides. He was up top first. Now he's kind of going towards the bottom side of the map, focusing there.
And we know Anda really does have a high ceiling. We have seen him really dominate games against very good players. You know, I think very heavily back to against Echo Fox, the Poppy into Dardoch Lee Sin, completely dictating the pace of that game, completely taking over. And you know, he's been put in a similar position here where he really can have a big impact on this game.
Yeah, first pick the Kindred for him, 4 stacks already. He's cycling his jungle just to kind of keep it up. And Team Liquid, even though they roamed Impact down, he's got to go catch that top wave at tier 2, and there's no pressure on that Drake because it's just been for the bottom side here. This may be a Rift Herald in the near future after they clear out vision in the top side.
Talked a little bit about Impact with that Ornn pick. Not so much for the lane before the fights. That's when he came up with his first kill on the teleport down in CS in that lane, and that pressure now has led for 100 Thieves to Rift Herald.
They're Rift Heralding. TL might think this is where they go, but look at the bottom lane from 100 Thieves. Aphromoo is here. Rikara is almost there. If they can test this, it's a complete trap.
No forward wards here for Team Liquid. They don't know what's on the other side of that river, so they choose not to go in. 100 Thieves picks up Rift Herald, and now Anda can control the map even more.
At the same time, though, Doublelift grabs the bottom lane turret, solo gold for him. They're going to get a dragon here, so this is not a bad trade at all there for TL. It's going to come down to how much can you get with that Rift Herald as 100 Thieves, because Anda needs to have a successful one, because you're trading potential gold for immediate gold.
Yeah, and trying to make sure that you can actually use that on the right objective, that mid lane turret. And I talked about it where having Rikara might mean you play to the top side. I didn't think it would happen because of the GP, but I think it's going to happen now because of the way the game is set up pressure-wise. That top turret is down. You use Ssumday's pressure to go towards mid and potentially lay down a Rift Herald to get that turret away from Pobelter.
Yeah, I mean, Ornn also really doesn't have great wave clear if you want to even try to attack. And just like he did when the bot lane went up there against Ornn, you can just walk up and start shooting the turret alongside the GP, drop your Rift Herald, and try to knock that down.
Yep, we have a 13-minute Triforce here for Ssumday.
Pretty quick.
He's going to be doing a good job farming, getting that extra gold. And he's on his way back to top lane, so yeah, no swap of the map or anything like that. The break is down, and there's no neutral objective to play for, so I think they'll play for placing the Rift Herald hero from 100 Thieves.
And this is something, Impact's doing that we've seen actually a lot recently, and we saw quite a bit from FLICKR yesterday, is a rush towards CDR on the Ornn. Very likely going to be a Frozen Heart coming out with that Glacial Shroud plus another Cloth Armor. You can get that for 20%, grab a Kindle Gem right after, you're on 30, and then you complete an Abyssal, and you're at 40 for that teamfight ultimate, because that is what the character is about. And you really have to have it available for as many opportunities as possible.
He's against 3 physical damage dealers on this team. He doesn't want to build the Abyssal Mask first, but you typically want to have a Catalyst as your very first item is Ornn, because Ornn, he can buy items without backing. Catalyst just keeps you in lane, because you're just constantly spending mana, constantly getting HP back, and it's just a very good item for sustain and having that initial amount of HP that the armor can get behind.
Yeah, exactly. You need some health, especially when you're against a Malzahar. If you just build straight Frozen Heart, you are a very squishy boy, so I was going to be grabbing up that Catalyst, and we'll see how effective he's going to be in these teamfight engages, because in the isolated side lane 1v1, you expect Ssumday to be dictating the pace, having that pressure, and Anda to be kind of using that to be able to take some more cancel away.
Team Liquid knew that coming in as well. Xmithie hovered top for Impact when he was ganked by Anda. They're still able to get a few marks down on that lane, but Impact has been able to get a kill on the bot side of the map. And now top side, they look to make some results out of Ssumday, getting a little too aggressive. Oh, the board's got hits. Killer instinct from Doublelift, and they're going to let that one go over to him. Kill secured by Team Liquid.
These TPs from TL have been so on point. And a beautiful ult there from Impact, predicting where Ssumday will go with the flash, applies the plasma, Doublelift flies in. Easy kill for the marksman.
And thinking about 100 Thieves, they're a team that will win by 1-3-1ing you. And bringing teleport on Doublelift is actually so clever and incredibly smart for him to just be able to shut that down and be a factor on his team. Doublelift even said it where it's like everybody kind of has to play around him, right? He wants to be a little bit like Uzi. This is a game where he's helping his team play around 100 Thieves, and he's contributing to shutting down the 1-3-1.
Very true. A quick flip of the script for him, but he's doing it perfectly fine as they need to move around the map. But really off the ball here as that was being put into the basket in the bot lane. 2 turrets for 100 Thieves as they use Rift Herald to go through bot and second tier turret. Almost going down, actually. Second tier did stay up as we see top lane gank one more time.
And this is just well set up. Impact waits long enough, only shows once the TP is nearly complete, and then simply has to apply the plasma, Doublelift can clean it up.
Yeah, Doublelift just uses the arc, gets right in there. That's the type of gank you're looking for. That flash, though, a little bit too predictive and got called out on it.
Downloaded.
Yep.
He knows what you're doing. A lot of pink boards in the inventory of 100 Thieves. We'll see if they feel like putting these in defense or far enough up to tell us that they're ready to protect them in the river a little bit farther onto Team Liquid's side as they start clearing some out. 2 minutes onto the Cloud Drake and just 3 until we get Baron on the Rift.
And something you always have to track is, how Doublelift is doing in this game, not only because TL in general plays through him, but almost all of their consistent DPS is Doublelift, right? And now we are 17 minutes into the game. He is more than 30 CS ahead. He got a kill, he got an assist, he has gotten solo gold on that bottom lane turret. And he's already 1,000 gold ahead of Rikara.
Permafrost, Glacial Prison stays in.
Yeah, and that's something you gotta watch out here. Sejuani usually makes people pick up Cleanse. Nothing on Rikara, nothing on Ryu. They may have to get a QSS in the future, but this is a Merc Treads game 100%. You already see it in the inventory of Anda, and Anda's actually pretty far ahead. We were talking about 1,000 gold up in that other matchup. He's 1,200 gold up himself. He actually got both of the last 2 buffs. He got the red buff and the blue buff from TL, and he's been controlling the jungle and playing off of when he kind of has a window to go in there and bully Xmithie.
Cannon Barrage used from Ssumday on the top side. He is back on the map from his first death just a little bit ago as bot lane's pushed all the way up. Now Ssumday starts to rotate towards mid. 100 Thieves could have a quick pinch onto Team Liquid, but Olleh and Xmithie get themselves safely back to the turret. Looks like a party here for 100 Thieves. They seem like they want mid pretty good.
Yeah, they definitely have pretty good wave clear here as well. So if they want to spread the map, you can do that. But for now, they push the side lanes, they draw TL to those side lanes, and then they try to shove up mid. And I think it's going to be back to that 1-3-1, as Irene was saying. It feels like you want to avoid the straight up 5v5 against TL.
Yeah, TL has a lot of engage with Impact and Xmithie. And then the Kai'Sa damage, basically she's a one-man army in a lot of fights. And if she can just pump damage into a frontliner, which 100 Thieves don't really have, it would kind of be Aphromoo and that's it. You do want to have your kind of damage dealers spread across the map, because if somebody dies, you have a lot of damage to deal to another turret.
Yeah, especially when you have the Zilean to kind of back you up. Like, you can actually dive deep past Aphromoo a lot of times there, having that Zilean ultimate.
And right here, Ssumday, I think they're going to try to trade Cloud Drake for top lane tier 2 is the plan for 100 Thieves. I feel like they're just going to try to play for mid priority. That's it. And then potentially roam up to top if Ssumday isn't able to get this by himself. But he has Trinity Force. I think he'll be able to get this. They're just going to try to cover for him.
The only one that can head up is Impact. Teleports are down for Pobelter and Doublelift, so they got to stay close to the fight. On a little goose chase through the jungle. Top turret gets actually pretty damaged by Ssumday in that pressure, as 100 Thieves is slowly working TL around the map, but TL is still getting a few objectives of their own with those Drakes.
Yeah, they definitely are. They're going to be pretty happy, I think, about where they're sitting in the game. It's less important that everyone has a ton of gold and more important that Doublelift is strong.
Over the wall, looking for a possible Glacial Prison to start it off, and they hit Rikara right in the kisser, taking him down as Pobelter secures the kill.
So beautifully done there, no hesitation. He just gets absolutely deleted. The all hits from Xmithie, Doublelift to follow it up.
Yeah, and it's because they saw via Impact on the top side, see Anda and Ssumday taking that last mark. It's like, all right, they're on this top side of the map, and they don't have enough time to actually make it there if they were to walk. Granted, they were recalling, but that's exactly what you want to do with engagement windows, is figure out when the enemy has their defenses down.
You can also see how high level Doublelift is. He's as high as both the soul laners from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, not
right?
normal.
And having that Zilean to kind of boost up your experience a little bit can be very effective. And he is already now on 2 items at a ridiculously strong point for team fighting. And also with that Rage Blade, there's always the potential of looking towards a Baron and being able to kind of DPS that down.
Yeah, 50 CS up, doing a fantastic job against Rikara, who's making his debut here in playoffs. And just putting the pressure on him. And also that teleport allows him to be a little bit aggressive. And now that he has the 2-item spike, I believe this gets him, with the Zerker Squeeze, this gets him his E and now his Q. But hold on, suppressed.
going down, Doublelift very low, misses the flash over the wall. Cannon Barrage might get this one, but he does get Chrono Shift. Eyes on Doublelift as he comes back up full HP, instantly back down on the ground. Doublelift now caught in the frying pan as 100 Thieves has the fight. They're gonna get orchestrated in their favor. It's just outside of the curtain call, and 100 Thieves can look at Baron.
Exactly, if you look at Baron, Xmithie half HP. He doesn't have Warmogs or anything like that. He'd have to go for a steal. His smite isn't up just yet.
Should be up in time. Impact does have
still
the
a
ultimate.
50-50.
We'll see if they go.
Maybe a 55-45. Xmithie's on the other side, though. The smite is there. 13-11. Bigger smite coming out of Onda in this situation as well, so he has the advantage. Forge God is called. Impact doing everything he can inside the pit. The smite's to come down, but Lamb's Respite stops the kill. Who gets it? 1600 HP. They kill Xmithie. Now it's all about the damage, and it is going to be Onda picking it up for 100 Thieves.
Incredibly done there from 100 Thieves. Both these junglers really reading into it. Neither one of them wasted their smite at the start. Xmithie anticipated the Lamb's Respite to come down, but they still just focus him down. They kill him off. He has no chance to smite it. That was flawless from 100 Thieves.
I mean, it's a move Xmithie's used himself on other players.
Can't Xmithie, right? He's just gonna hold it. He's like, I know what the Kindred's gonna do, but they still focused all that damage into him afterwards, because this Sejuani basically has just a tiny bit of armor, and that's it.
And this is so well done here. Lying in wait. He's on the pink ward. Doublelift doesn't see him, and they're not able to get over the wall. The failed flash there, so he doesn't have a lot of distance, even though he gets res back up. Look at Aphro. Ready, Q flash. There's no chance to react to that.
Yeah, even if he makes that flash off, I still feel like he's gonna get the GP ultimate on top of him. He's gonna get Pobelter's ultimate, and then there's nothing you really do from there. And that's why it's so important that that ward and that contest was set up there, and that was really well done there from Reed.
And this is perfect. So neither junglers use their smite, but the Kindred ultimate keeps the Baron high enough that Xmithie can never burst it down unless you panic and smite first.
That
so
was
all
the
of
perfect
100
time.
Thieves stop DPS on Baron, focus him down, guaranteeing that they get it.
And this is game one in the playoffs in summer between 100 Thieves and TL. I want to take you back to spring finals. 100 Thieves versus TL. Game one, Team Liquid are behind, and they steal the Baron from Meteos. And that was huge in the series here. Anda, the new jungler for them, the only difference in the roster except for Rikara in this game.
In the setting today.
But that was huge, and he's able to secure that and keep their mental strong.
And this is really kind of that double-edged sword of having everything on one carry, right? Doublelift is going to be ridiculously powerful in a team fight if he's able to stay free, if he's able to get that space. You see what it looks like if he goes down right at the start. Yes, they spent all their resources to kill him, but that's okay. You can do that, and if you're able to get him down, there's not much left for TL.
A Quicksilver Sash picked up for Doublelift now. You think Ryu has flash up. That's an instant hit. Onda saves him with Lamb's Respite so they can keep Doublelift, but now they have to rethink the situation.
Yeah, but if you look at the gold difference here between the two AD carries, Doublelift is up 65 CS, but it's 1,200 gold. The cost of the QSS.
Look at the jungle gold.
I know, it's actually stupid. Like, I was looking at it, I was trying to see if Anda would hit level 13 before his solo laners. Ssumday literally hit it like 5 seconds before him. I haven't seen a professional jungle game in a long time where the jungler is ahead of his solo laners in experience. It almost never happens with the change jungle.
I mean, Anda almost has as much gold as Doublelift, who is getting all the gold as the opposing marksman. That is really insane. He's almost 3,000 ahead of Xmithie as well. This guy is really, really strong, and TL are going to kind of have to go onto the defensive now. They're very far behind. They can't afford to have their base be getting cracked and falling this far behind.
It's going to be second tier turret in mid now. 100 Thieves starting to damage it as Impact calls forth the Forge God. 3 members of 100 Thieves knocked up. Ryu and Ssumday on the outside ready to pincer in, and they get it suppressed onto Impact so he cannot create more crowd control. The curtain is called and turns TL to their base. Resurrecting from Chrono Shift is Impact as he was the focus as the meat shield on the front line, and now TL right back at it. Rinse and repeat is the batting orders, right back to the plate.
It buys them some time. The double bomb will clear out the minions very quickly. Even if they're baroned up, it does a lot of damage. And off on the side, I think there's a flank coming through from somebody on the left. No, it's Xmithie just clearing out. But that's the thing is you go, oh, he's on the left side. You don't know exactly what he's going to do.
Right? We see kind of what 100 Thieves had to envision there, and did not look safe without topside wards. Honda heads down, grabs himself a little bit more damage for the team with Infernal Drake 25.5 minutes into the game.
And that's so much more important than it is normally because you have 4 pure damage characters. There's no tank in the top lane, no tank in the jungle. All of these guys are getting that huge benefit from it, and another mark going his way. He's just ridiculously fed. And he has 7 marks, he's level 15. It's absurd.
Yeah, it was funny, I looked at it just a second ago. He was at 5, he like picked up 2 marks very quickly there. I was like, wow, okay. Almost having that extra range increase again.
He already does. It's 3 after the first 4, so he's already at an additional 25 on top. He's 100 range over that, sitting at 600 now, so pretty absurd.
Now, that's honestly crazy. Like now he's basically got that same attack range as Ashe. All that extra damage and attack speed will come through. And since he has more of an on-hit type build, it means a lot to have that extra attack speed from your Q to get more of those attacks off, stack up the Black Cleaver, survive as well. Because you get more off, you get more HP back for your lifesteal. It's this kind of cycle where being offensive really helps him out and having the stacks.
For TL though, it's about kind of stabilizing here. It's about slowing down the game. They still have an incredibly strong team fight. They still have Doublelift at a very high amount of farm. I mean, he's 70 plus CS, almost 80 CS ahead of his opponent.
These intense moments are when he performs too.
Yeah, but he still has to find something here that, because if you look at his inventory, Ssumday is still just rocking way more in terms of just hefty items, the Trinity Force plus the Stairs, and now the Stormrazor. He's basically not looking for, hey, I'm gonna shred these tanks. Like, I'm going for the squishies, he's going for the barrel chains, he's trying to blow up people like Doublelift, like Pobelter, and reach them with those, those barrels that people usually wouldn't consider GP a long-range character.
I'd like to see that first parlay on Doublelift right now with a Stormrazor shot.
Doublelift would not like to see that.
Like, he just did 320 damage to Xmithie with that crit. Xmithie had passive on.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things about GP. When you are this far ahead, even just dropping an ultimate on a 1-carry team, you drop it right on the marksman. The marksman essentially has to run straight out of that. Yeah. You just take so much arbitrary damage. The Jhin is firing shots at you. While that is all happening, the Malzahar and the Kindred are killing your front line. And if you are not actively firing, actively doing damage while your front line is being hit, you will start to get shredded.
Yeah, and I love that Ryu has gone for the Rylai's Crystal Scepter here. We've seen kind of a lot of penetration builds come out, some of the Leandries, but going for the Rylai's for utility for his team second and just helping him out in the team fights, I think is exactly what they need here, because these fights are very rough for 100 Thieves, because TL, they have a better team fighting composition, and so adding as much utility as possible without having to kind of default to only 1-3-1-ing, I think it's good for 100 Thieves. If they can actually take fights, then that's a good sign.
It's always cool to see Zilean passive, but then having TL use it on Xmithie right now is actually like, hey, we need to catch up with this passive, get even. Still 15 to 14 there. So it could be a level 3 ultimate Frostbite, not that's damage from Onda, before Xmithie hits that level 3 Glacial Prison. Just the clip of the game 100 Thieves has right now, so much quicker as they almost catch impact on the front line once again.
And so we have to kind of take stock of what that Baron got on 100 Thieves. The bottom tier 2, it didn't get them to crack that tier 2 in mid. They haven't broken any inhibitor lines. The game is still very much so undecided despite this gold lead and that Infernal Drake for 100 Thieves. Now they're going to use the pressure. They're going to push up here. Olleh's going to block a little bit.
Eyes onto Aphromoo here to go on the back line. Impact actually throwing out the Forge God. Silence can't knock it back. Beautifully done by Ryu. And it looks like 100 Thieves can stand tall in mid still.
Really well timed there by Ryu, interrupting the activation of the ultimate to actually knock that Ram back into the team. And you can see TL's strategy is just all eggs in Doublelift's basket. They're, as a 4-man squad, trying to hold, while Doublelift is still sitting in side lanes. He's still trying to maximize farm. He knows he has to be the guy. Yeah. He has to be the guy to take over this game, and he needs the items to be able to do it.
Yeah, and the QSS kind of taking up some slots in his inventory. See if he actually goes for back, but no, he's actually going to contest right now.
Yeah, talking about that, Smite steals Irene to 50-50, could be up grabs. A double pulverize coming in as Pobelter has to distance himself. Again, you have impact on the front line, now down to about 5% of that HP, but he will live. That did not look safe for Team Liquid, and now 100 Thieves can go right back as they're winning the small skirmishes.
It's the vision, though. And there's the W from Doublelift just to check it. They don't have vision control of this area. They don't know what 100 Thieves are doing. And it just looks like 100 Thieves are backing, and they're going to kind of figure that out here slowly but surely. Olleh's going to face check, have Xmithie behind him. This is that get the vision with a buddy system, and they'll kill these control wards. So you have to buy more control wards as 100 Thieves when you reset here.
Yeah, they are going to be able to at least get some of that vision back, and the process kind of restarts now for 100 Thieves. They are 7,000 gold ahead, and you can see that coming through in the items. And with the IE completion, that's so big there for Rikara and Ryu on 3 items here as well. So they're at one of their strongest points relative to their opponents.
Just little hits back and forth, trying to force out flashes, see if you can get an ultimate in defense out of one of these players. Chrono Shift is up for Pobelter, so there could be a bit of an engage here if Xmithie feels like the team can go forward. Right now, it's waiting to see if 100 Thieves will tempt the next Baron. They feel like they're getting a small foot in the door on those engages from the side of TL.
Xmithie is the insurance sitting around the Baron, allowing his team to back and recall. Doublelift, Runan's Hurricane now completed on him, going for a build that is a lot about stacking up Plasma on multiple people and trying to just be the sole carry of the team, because like you said, Azael, he has been.
It is very interesting though, because normally you see that against multiple melee teams on people who are going to naturally stack up, and 100 Thieves looking for an engaged. Impact is actually on the side though here. It could be TL that want to try to start this off.
Glacial Prison is up. Everything is up around the map in the terms of ultimates. And just a flash down here on the side of Pobelter. Mid lane is the name of the game for now, and they have all the vision of 100 Thieves with that mid ward.
It's down to that vision, it's down to that control.
It is, it's just jockeying for position. The fight that, after all of this is probably going to come down to clearing a ward, back and forth, one little misstep.
Yeah, and you got to be very conscious as 100 Thieves whenever this situation has arisen, where you can't see what TL's doing, and Doublelift on the Kai'Sa is in Fog of War with the Baron, because Kai'Sa is one of the best Baron champions in the entire game because of the plasma percent HP damage, no cooldown on it. The only thing that matters is how much you can cycle your attacks with Rage Blade, and that E giving you that extra attack speed just means that you can kill it in about 8 seconds with just one other person.
And Doublelift now level 16 himself. He's almost 100 CS up.
CS away.
Really, really maximizing farm here. TL have done a good job buying him so much time, and
let's count.
They're just going to start this up.
Started at 54 seconds, and they're actually backing off of it. They got down to almost 75%.
And in a way, it's got to feel good for Team Liquid to say, we can now start to pull you around the map to 100 Thieves. They had a bit of position there, and 100 Thieves is forced to clear these wards and not do something they wanted to right away. Or maybe they're just going to force it, calling Team Liquid's bluff.
Well, Xmithie backed. Don't know if they saw that, but that's what matters, is he's not around to smite it. And get it down to half. They're just toying with. Remember, 100 Thieves, this is what they did against FlyQuest in the quarterfinals, is start Baron, bait Baron, toy with the idea of doing it. It's like 100 Thieves, they kind of make you think, are they going to commit to it? Are they going to turn? They don't have that hard engage that they used to, but they do have Ssumday level 18 on this GP with the ultimate, and then they also have Rikara following.
Yeah, and you still do have Aphromoo to pull that trigger, and we can go in pretty hard if they want to do it on that Alistar. And
no check here.
Yeah, they don't know what's going on just yet. I mean, no vision
in
on
mid
it.
lane.
Xmithie's moving over.
It's going to be a little too late, maybe down to 5,000 HP. There it is, right at 5. And it looks like they're going to have to step off for the fight. Too much of a 50-50, knowing that was Xmithie's ward over the side. Doublelift has entered the 5v5 jockey around Baron as both teams stare each other in the eyes. Impact, choke point. Got 2 members. Ryu flashes out so he can get a silence onto somebody. Pobelter's on the side, but watching Doublelift on the bottom as Impact takes the front and brunt of damage. Can they return it? He doesn't go down. Chrono Shift is there, and he wants to go down. You're right, Cyrene. They keep him up, and he may go down to the AoE, but he lives. Team Liquid stays alive, but 100 Thieves is in a much better position.
He has the Warbucks to heal up, but they're going to go right onto the Baron here. Olleh does not.
What a dance.
Time to control the vision for 100 Thieves. Toy with the idea again. Oh, somebody's recall gets interrupted there. And they're
my word.
They're all resetting again. This is just a back and forth. I don't think that bottom wave has been like taken care of in a long time. You see 100 Thieves have a pushing top wave, they have a pushing bottom wave. Somebody has to go catch these.
Impact to do some janitorial duty on bot. Team Liquid clearing at least the waves, hopefully past river, for their own sake, that these fights continue to happen, because 100 Thieves seems to have a little bit of the map moving in their favor during these fights. We're gonna reset here coming up on 35 minutes. Baron fights, 1, 2, 3, 4. and only one successful take by 100 Thieves so far.
Yeah, it's such a tense game at this point. The gold lead has not really extended, though, since the last Baron take. So this lead is meaning less and less. Doublelift is still ridiculously farmed, and he is that important member.
Really
so if
is.
they can find that good engage with the Ornn, with the Sejuani, they can crush a fight. And you give TL one fight, they will take the Baron, and they will be in control.
And you can see people are kind of preparing for that fight however they can. I like to think of stopwatches almost like when you buy an elixir of a fortitude or anything like that. Ssumday is doing that right now.
He's ready for the next fight.
He spent 600 gold on a stopwatch. He already has the Guardian Angel, so that is a dead-end stopwatch. He will use that.
There's call the Force God. Huge knock-up. Wow. On to 100 Thieves. They put down the Lambs for fight fast enough, but it doesn't look like they'll come out healthy enough. And Ryu goes down. Xmithie falls fast after in the retribution kill for Team Liquid. And now it's going to be a back and forth with the call, or with the curtain call out. Impact slowed. Bellows breath forward. But that's Impact from Aphromoo. The combo of Headbutt Pulverize keeps Team Liquid in range. And they completely liquidate that fight from 100 Thieves.
Aphromoo lines him up, and Ssumday knocks him down with that barrel combo. What an engage. And the Zilean ultimate, the key misstep there for TL. It was used too early on Doublelift. He is running out and it is used. And when they don't have that anymore, Doublelift cannot commit to the fight.
Oh, Doublelift, he tried to do as much damage as possible in that fight. They threw down the ultimate on him, like you said, and now the Baron. Only Olleh stands in the way. Will he try? Aphromoo saying, not even a chance, man. Not even a 1% chance is what he'll allow.
3.5 minutes of absolute power for 100 Thieves, and they have been in the driver's seat to use this. We'll see the fight all over again as Impact starts it off with Forge God.
And this is our Acer Predator replay here. A great Kindred ultimate to actually have that down before Ryu could get burst out. And then track Doublelift going deep in the fight. The Zilean ultimate gets dropped as he flashes out. That is the key miscommunication.
Now right here, Aphromoo. Doublelift's like, after all this time, the flash forward, the headbutt pulverize, the triple knock-up, and then the gross barrel chain there from Ssumday. This has been an incredible split for Ssumday as a top laner.
Impact caught out again, pulverized on top of the ultimate. They might have stacked the CC a little bit to secure this kill, and Impact will make that alive. They call every teleport in from Team Liquid, though. They're gonna try to throw the kitchen sink at him. He gets silenced, and they don't need the Forge God to come back through, and 100 Thieves are getting a little greedy.
That is a critical kill because the Elder has just spawned, and TL could now head over there.
Looks like they still want to fight. Slowly pressuring each other, but tempered here as 100 Thieves know they are now down a player even with that Baron in hand. They have no minions to push up a bot lane, and they'd have to go through Team Liquid to get there. Elder Drake started by Team Liquid.
Ssumday, he's already placed a prep barrel in that bush in case they want to walk up afterwards. See if he gets a chain off to the back.
Coming up on that 40-minute mark, teams have pushed each other to the brink here. Curtain call is open to disrupt and cause chaos on Team Liquid. Seeing Onda in the front, trying to get the Lambs respite down the spike game. Xmithie takes the last shot. Deadly Flourish almost hits him. He's got to get out of there, but it's going to be Hondas. They smite Elder. That's going to be a double dragon buff for them, and now they are going to take down Impact with the rest of Team Liquid chasing Pobelter and the rest of the team out.
This could be the game here, Rip. They got the Elder, they have the minion wave, and they're gonna look to end it.
Ryu already turned towards mid, escalating how fast the minions would get there, being the catalyst to the victory, as it's still quite a slow back coming in from the rest of the team. And Doublelift stands by himself. Now it's Pobelter alongside him to protect the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, Ryu says, you know what, that backdoor against FlyQuest where he could have TP'd sooner, they could have made a faster play. He says that's not happening. Immediate pull on the trigger.
100 Thieves. Nexus turrets are down. Nexus and the prize in their eyes, and they pick the first lock on Team Liquid.
And 100 Thieves get their first victory on Team Liquid since the first time they ever met back on January 27th.
Seems like they had him quite figured out throughout that matchup. Having Rikara in the bot lane drew a little bit of love around the map, and I think it kind of allowed Onda to fly under the radar a bit more and do what he needed to early game.
And that's what I love, is because when 100 Thieves play with Cody Sun, it's the Cody Sun show. And then Ssumday sometimes pops off, and he'll try to save the game. But with Rikara, it felt like they could focus elsewhere, that they could support Anda, and that Ryu, who got Player of the Series in their quarterfinals, once again stepped up on the Malzahar, and the team controlled the vision to allow picks to happen. But the team fighting in Ssumday is kind of what it came down to in the later parts.
I mean, you have to give credit, honestly, to the whole team, despite the fact that Rikara was not gifted all those side lanes. It was given to his solo laners. He was down well over 100 CS. He did more damage than Doublelift did that game. And Aphromoo was there for those critical engages. This was a full team effort. Ryu finding the first initial pick on a Doublelift, which got them the Baron. The whole team played well, and that's what it takes to beat this team.
I love it, because we're going to get so many new scenarios out of the next games. Can 100 Thieves come back in that scenario? Does TL go up? I can't wait.
Is there a substitution?
Is there a substitution? There's so much to find out. And to hear how 100 Thieves took game 1 of the series, let's send it over to the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. You heard Zyrene say it. The first time 100 Thieves has beaten Team Liquid since the first time they beat Team Liquid all the way back at the beginning of the spring split. So a huge win to kick off a best-of-5 after getting 3-0'd by this very same team in the spring finals.
And I like the way they did it, too, because they absolutely did not try and win through bottom lane, which is the normal way they have won. And every time 100 Thieves has had to adapt to a new way of playing this year, whether it was playing with Funnel, playing with Anda, or playing against Team Liquid, they've seemed to find at least an answer for it. Loved Ssumday's GP, and the Kindred from Anda was one of the best games he's played all year.
He had a similarly good start versus Xmithie in their previous time they met up, but that did not work out nearly as well once he got the lead, because he kind of wasn't able to convert it into anything extra. But here, after getting that early kill on a bad invade by Xmithie, who was trying to split the map when 100 Thieves was not agreeing to do that, they tried to kind of punish this one play around the bot lane of TL, which they get kind of outplayed, all things considered, but then this opened up the game for where they said, like, all right, we don't want our bot lane down here anymore, and they start opening up the map, and TL was able to find some plays, but if you look at where the minion waves are, pretty much every time these plays are happening, they're nowhere near an objective, and even though you get that kill, look, there's 10 more minions you need to clear out, and so TL, despite having some good looks, never were converting into anything.
Yeah, Doublelift Kai'Sa, you're kind of always waiting for that late game, but I did feel like as much as we do say that, oh, TL just needs to play through bottom lane, that'll do it. Like, TL's composition really had no flexibility, and at least 100 Thieves' composition had all the tools they needed to not let Doublelift succeed. This Baron Secure was also a big improvement over previous Baron Secures.
Yeah, we will.
Mind games and respect there.
We'll come back to that in a moment, but it's reminiscent of the game 1 of spring finals.
The other problem too is, like, of the tools you did draft, you did not use them well. The Zilean here was pretty abysmal with his ultimates here. Dropping one on Doublelift, who is largely fine. It's much harder as the player to react to the fact that you have a Zilean than for the Zilean player to react to, like, hey, I'm playing Zilean, I'll help you when you need it, versus like preemptive ultimate, go in Doublelift as you're in the middle of a team fight. That's obviously going to be hard
huge
to communicate.
flash in there by
Aphromoo. Play a little bit by Aphro. And then here, once again, no Zilean ult to put on Xmithie or anything as he's getting chased out of the pit, so he goes back in, and the second time that the Zilean ult, this time not getting used, but equally ineffective.
Yep. I mean, it's a tough situation, right? And that's where we kind of, when we had tracked Cloud9's usage of the Zilean throughout the split, we had pinpointed that communication was so clearly a huge element of making that pick successful. Ja, I know you have some thoughts as well on where Zilean is more useful being played around, specifically, not just a single carry, but having necessarily more options for where we can put that power.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like when you're playing Zilean compositions, you should be playing them with either a high damage top or a high damage jungle. It's okay to play it with the tank because you give your front line a second life, but in this situation where all that TL had was really Doublelift, you're limiting so much of your teamfight threat. So instead of protecting Doublelift, you're actually making it even harder for him to do anything because no one else is drawing the attention of the opponent, so they can just kind of wait for Doublelift. So for that reason, I didn't like that combination.
That said, I do want to dive back into that first Baron replay that we had in this game because we spoke about how it was reminiscent of the game 1 from their spring final series where Xmithie actually comes away with the Baron steal. This time around, both teams playing it quite well.
Yeah, so they're trying to find Xmithie and mark him for a potential Aphromoo headbutt, but they kind of get distracted and decide to go for the plan of letting him come in and having the Kindred ult. But Xmithie was aware of this as well. He didn't smite at all until the Kindred ultimate drops, but it goes back up out of smite range, and they focus Xmithie down and then drop it back into smite range. So just the way they dealt with all the damage in the Kindred, keeping it out of smite range, just due to how much health it keeps the Baron buff at, It was very smart play by 100 Thieves.
That was a situation where I feel like both teams did pretty much all that they could. And because 100 Thieves had more tools, they got the Baron. All the way from the ward to even Xmithie stunning the Alistar so that he could not disrupt the Sedge dash in like that. If Xmithie would have stolen that, would have been like, holy crap, Xmithie, the smite steal god. He also held the smite because he predicted the Kindred ult to come through. But ultimately, 100 Thieves also predicted all those things and had more tools, so they killed him and took the Baron.
100 Thieves comes out on top in game one, already off to a better start than they were in the spring finals, but they got to keep rolling it forward. And so I want to turn our attention to game two with game one's draft in mind, because a lot of what we just talked about and a lot of criticisms that we just had for Team Liquid seemed to be around the tools. Again, what they had available to them when it came to strategies or methods of winning, and that it was a very narrow focus, specifically around Doublelift. What needs to change to give you more faith that in game two, they will come away with a victory, even if they do fall behind?
I think the GP was another big part of that draft. As much as I didn't really line up with my win condition as counter pick, the fact that you can blind GP and never get punished for its impact is something that we've seen starting all the way back as far as spring. And TL never really answered that criticism beyond like, well, sometimes we win anyways. And so I think, or we'll ban it. And I think that's what we're going to see here, where they're going to start banning GP first phase.
100 Thieves, blue side, no subs.
Okay, that's good. So remember, TL picked red side. I do think the Rikara substitution threw TL for a bit of a loop, because I think if 100 Thieves wants to play that way, TL can easily drop the Varus ban for a GP ban. Make it more difficult for Ssumday to have a high damage top laner, and make it more necessary for 100 Thieves to rely on their AD carry for late game. 100 Thieves was able to make a late game composition that did not rely on the AD carry, and I think that's a big reason they won. TL can block that with a Gangplank ban.
Right, that's interesting, right? You talked about the kind of the matchup between Doublelift and CodySun being historically Doublelift favored, and in this game, we saw lots of resources going Doublelift's way, very few resources going Rikara's way, and yet the result still falls in favor of Rikara's team. So it kind of speaks to the fact that 100 Thieves has found a way of winning that doesn't require them to play into Team Liquid's strength.
And a large part of what we were saying was that's probably going to be around Ssumday. And so if the GP ban does come in, we need to see that second level out of 100 Thieves, where they knew that the GP would get answered out. What else do you have prepared? As well as the fact Onda is not probably always going to kill Xmithie in his jungle level 2 and get 5 stacks. So like, how do 100 Thieves play out when they don't have such a advantageous early game?
Adaptation, adaptation, adaptation. As we head towards game 2, 100 Thieves, they picked up the first game. We'll see how Team Liquid will respond in our second game of the series after this commercial break.
Yeah, Eugene, 1-1v1. I need to warm up. Okay. I need to get some confidence. My confidence is ruined. I'm playing customs now. Thanks a lot.
You're done? Okay. Ssumday gets a piece of this one as well. A tit for tat and a touch for everybody.
I have ult. I'm looking my guys. Yeah, I'm coming Kindred to Kindred. I'm gonna take back.
He comes back up full HP, instantly back down on the ground. Doublelift now caught in the frying pan as 100 Thieves has the fight.
I can flash right here, Got it. Yeah, we got three. We can have. I stun one. Still no flash.
He's got to get out of there, but it's going to be Honda's. They smite Elder. That's going to be a double dragon buff for them, and now they are going to take down Impact, and they pick the first lock on Team Liquid.
Welcome back to Assist of the Week. During the quarterfinal match of FlyQuest and 100 Thieves, the Thieves were getting harassed by FlyQuest as they attempted to take down Baron. Ssumday decided he had enough, launching Call of the Forge God at Keen and headbutting it towards Flame and Santorn for the knockup, caused FlyQuest to scatter, and 100 Thieves secured 2 kills.
And Flame, then it's going to be free. Flame in some trouble, trying to get himself away from this one. Cho'Gath not really mobile enough to escape the collapse. He tries to go for the feast with his dying breath, but it will not work.
The sub above difference is daily, not shredded last night or baked yesterday afternoon. Good ingredients, prepped fresh every day. Because that's what daily means. Jersey Mites. Be a sub above.